Alright guys, June 20th, 2023. Welcome back to the pod. Man, today's been exhausting. In a good way. So, I think where I left off yesterday, I don't know what I did yesterday. Like, basically, after doing some podcast recordings and working on the affiliate marketing program, at night I did a lot of exercising. I started a little after 9 p.m., got in about 35 minutes of stretching and yoga, and after that I did some exercise, primarily like dancing, exercising, which is pretty good cardio, and I did that for like an hour 50 minutes, an hour 40 minutes or so. It didn't turn out to be too much. It was like a little over, it was under 7,000, between 6,000 and 7,000 steps. It said 2.78 miles. So it wasn't that much. I set my watch to indoor walking. So yeah, like if I was on like an elliptical or something, or a treadmill, that's about how much I would have done approximately, which for that amount of time is kind of slow, but also I wasn't really walking or running or jogging. I was dancing, so it's that's the best way I can really track it. It felt like a good workout though. I could tell I was definitely way more loosened up. And then after that, I watched this video by Jay Killam, Jess. Well, it's not by her. It's by Caitlin Diaries, Kaitlin Diaries as one word, I believe, on Instagram. So she's got a pod. I don't know how new it is. It sounds new by the way she's describing it, and I liked it. Good content, little flirty content between the two of them in this interview, and some updates. Like usually with, like if you follow content by Jess, like usually she talks more about her own opinions and her own experiences, but there's not too much like interacting on the spot with other people. Like she does some interviews at taste events and other types of stuff, but yeah, you don't usually see her just like one-on-one, like chatting with one person like in a quiet room. Like she's got a couple videos that she's collabed like that, but most of them aren't like that, so it's kind of a nice change. And she seems happy, seems calm. Like it was pretty cool to see. I'm loving seeing a lot of the LGBT YouTubers that I like initially started watching, listening to. A lot of them weren't even in LA when I first started getting into their content. Now like everybody's in LA, or at least at one point was in LA, and some of them moved out from LA, some of them again moved back to LA. So it's kind of just been nice to see them all going from most of their 20s, kind of getting into their careers, just entrepreneurial queers, basically. Cool stuff, So that brings us to this morning. Like, I slept after that. um I don't know what time it was. I want to say it was maybe a little after midnight that I slept. Then I got up, like, I think a little after 7, and I had my heater set to like 71 or something, because I had accidentally turned it on yesterday morning, because it was kind of cold for me in the morning. And so I turned that on, and then I felt like, I was like, wow, it seems like really hot. So when I woke up this morning, it was kind of warm, and the sun was already out, so it's breezy, but it's been kind of hard to like cool down the house, but it's not too bad. Maybe it helped me sleep longer, because I didn't wake up at like the crack of dawn. I slept, you know, I slept till like probably 7 something, I think. I don't think I was I don't think I was up before 7. I think it was like 7. If anything, it was like 6:50 something, but I think it was like 7. Um so it was pretty nice. Like, I felt okay. I kind of just got up, and just started my day. I was pretty motivated to just get up, have some coffee, and work out, because last night I was pretty wired. I did have an edible last night, but once I started working out, I was like really like into it. I was listening to that KX5, or like that Cascade and Dead Mouse album, and it's good. It's like kind of mellow, but it's got some really kind of good drops, heavy drops and stuff. So I'd recommend it if you like that kind of music. It was right up my alley, so I had a very enjoyable night and a very enjoyable morning. Felt pretty pumped up mostly all day, like energetic, but I guess the issue that I had was, I wasn't really fully focused till about noon. Like, I did work out this morning. I did some pull-ups, pull-ups, curls, jumping jacks, squats. Just kept it basic. And I might go back to doing like push-ups and sit-ups at night. I don't know. But yeah, I've been like outside a lot, and like it was just kind of hard focusing today, like during the morning. I found that kind of difficult this morning, but I was online looking for work, looking for jobs, but I got pretty distracted into the ones that seem to be, the fake crap. It's just like, oh, like, anybody can apply for this, and it's like, start working immediately and like make this much money, like freelance, like right now kind of stuff. So I got a little duped by some of that stuff and started engaging with that content, and kind of drained my energy, because I was like, well, if I could get some of those accounts set up today and just start doing like freelance blogging or something. And one of the offers, because I'm trying to get into some digital marketing freelance work, kind of, like as an option, like not like as a, not that it's not a good job or that it's not solid, but I'm just honestly not like that motivated to do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, like one of the job sites is that it's been sending me emails is like scammy. Like it's not real, so you click on it and it's like the jobs don't really exist. So there's been a lot of this like back and forth, and like a lot of the like customer service type of work of just like going in, and like they always say, oh, you can get this job immediately, and then it's like, oh, you have to sign up for their thing so they can send you like links for like LinkedIn jobs that aren't even real jobs, or like other jobs that are already posted on like Indeed, or jobs that are on Upwork or Fiverr. It's like I could have just done that myself, so it's like it's not really job leads that'll lead you to kind of like starting work immediately. And so I did spend like a couple hours doing that after breakfast. My breakfast was a little late, around like 9:15 a.m. or 9:30 or something like that. And then I ordered groceries, and they came around almost 2, and so I didn't eat lunch till like 2:30. So then I took a couple hours almost, just a break, because I was like, I'm hardly functioning anyway, so let me just take a few minutes, take a break. I've been watching that show Suits. So I finished the pilot, and the pilot and first episode are combined. So I finished the second half of the first combined episode, and then the whole second episode. And so, it worked out fine. Like, I don't know if I feel like I'm gonna keep watching it. Like, it's kind of like a lot of people just lying and deceiving about stuff. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I'm into it, but it's like, it's a little draining to kind of keep up with storylines sometimes. And so, I don't know. I might just go back to the stuff I like on YouTube. But yeah, I'll see. That's basically all I got up to. I just came out to get some sunlight and record a little, and I haven't posted from yesterday. I've gotten off of my schedule of like recording first thing in the morning, because I'm realizing, it does kind of take quite a couple hours in the early morning. So it's like, if I want to podcast in the morning, I can't exercise in the morning. And I might just need to exercise. Like, I don't feel like podcasting is something I have to do in the morning. I have more energy to do it in the morning, but then it's like it cuts into my day and into my other productive energy for doing stuff that I really don't want to do, but I need to be getting done. So that's why you've probably noticed my posts. Like, even though I might record every day, I don't post the same day all the time. Like, today I'm gonna post some episodes from probably some other days, and I'll see when they actually go live. Like, some of them I schedule depending. And yeah, like, it's a little messy right now just because I'm trying to prioritize job applications. But I updated my cover letter. That took a really long time. But I think it's pretty solid now. And any place that rejects me, I'm still kind of asking, for feedback. So I'm waiting to get some feedback. I've heard back from some other applications. No interviews yet for this week, but I'm probably gonna put up more applications tonight. But the problem is, I don't really like doing it when I'm tired, because then it's like, it might jeopardize my chances. Like, I feel like you kind of get one opportunity to put in a good application, but it's kind of strange as well, because even if I put one in, I feel like they don't really read them or remember them or anything. So it's kind of like, but yeah, one of them, they basically said that like they didn't feel I was qualified, and I'm like, I don't know how much more qualified I could possibly get. So unless it requires like a license. So I'm trying to hear back from them. It was another case management type job back in the mental health field. So I was a little bit confused by that. I was like, wait. Like, those types of jobs I should definitely almost always be qualified for, because I've been in the field for like about 9 years. If I count practicums, about 7 years. About 7 years if it's paid. So I've definitely got tons of experience. So I don't really know many jobs that require more than 7 to 9 years of experience, unless you really need a license. Like, um, I mean, there are some jobs in mental health that are like nursing and that kind of stuff, like RN. But yeah, but I'm not applying to those. Like, I think anything in case management and like therapy work, I'm more than qualified to do those jobs. So I don't really know. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to hear what they have to say, because they send the generic letter of, oh, we chose a candidate already who was somebody who was qualified. Like, I kind of like to know, like, what the qualifications were of the person that they chose compared to my application, like the specifics of what isn't there, you know? Because a lot of those jobs, when I look at the descriptions and kind of like minimal requirements, like I'm past all the minimal requirements and meet the criteria for like everything they're looking for. With other types of work, I don't really meet the criteria all the time, but with that type of work, I do. So it is a little bit like, it's not like I want to go back into it, but it's like I feel like I'd rather just apply for stuff. Um, Sorry. Like, apply for stuff that I meet the criteria for. Um, and so, yeah, and I totally meet the criteria for all of that type of work. So, I don't know. Kind of, we'll see. I got tickets for Crossed. It's maybe not the best idea to be buying tickets, but it's not till September, but it was pre-sale today at noon, and so I was like, I kind of might need to get these tickets. My friends got tickets, so I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I think in about 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days, I'll be down in San Diego. So, trying to figure out some solutions by then. Just like, time flies, guys. Like, it's just, I'm doing what I can on my end, but, you know, there's a lot still up in the air. All I can really do is cast my net wide and see what I pull back in. I think so. I'm glad I scheduled with that job counselor. That's coming up next Monday, so less than a week now. I have my first appointment. I hope it's fruitful. I hope it's not just, I hate it when you have like initial appointments, and then they just don't really do anything, and then they're like, oh, I'll schedule you for like 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, dude, I've already been waiting like multiple weeks, and then it's like just postponing. Like, I don't remember when I set up the appointment exactly, but they gave me the nearest appointment, and so since I got the soonest appointment possible, and that's for June 26th, so I was kind of like when I remember when I got the appointment, I was like, man, I'm gonna already have work by then. I'm already gonna be employed by the 26th. Like, there's no way, I'm still gonna be looking. But the economy sucks. And I am trying to look for remote work too, so that's definitely limiting me. I mean, I'm not against like working for like an Amazon warehouse or whatever, but it's like, that's not what I want to do. I mean, if I do it, it'll literally just be for money, and I'm really trying not to get a job where I'm like just getting money, small amounts of money, just so I can like take trips and stuff. But that might be what it comes down to. If it takes too much longer, I'm gonna have to make some decisions right away. So I'm hoping something works out during this month of June, because that would keep me kind of on target for my plans for the summer. But I don't know. And I haven't been trying to do Uber deliveries later in the day. I haven't been trying to do it in the evenings. I'm pretty wiped out. Like right now when I'm recording, it's 5:25 p.m. and I'm pretty wiped out. Like I've been up all day. I was busy all day. I can't really sleep in all day. I don't really like that. Like I get all groggy and dehydrated and hungry, and like once my meals get thrown off and stuff, and like I kind of just like to eat on time, sleep on time, wake up on time, like try to do stuff close to on time so that it's not like too complex. Because if I don't do it on time, basically it's like yeah, if I don't do it like on time, then it gets kind of hard to, manage my energy throughout the day. I still got a doctor's appointment this week on Thursday, so that means Thursday morning I'm kind of out of commission. And tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know exactly what I'm doing Wednesday. Job applications. Like, I'm trying to follow what my class program, what the people did in my class to get jobs, and I haven't really been following that. Like, I haven't been focused on only one type of job description, which maybe that would help. I have not done 20 applications a day. I think I've done like 50, under 50, like 41 or something. And it's not full. Like, there's still, like, some of them I didn't send emails, some of them I didn't send cover letters. Like, if they ask for a cover letter, I'll send one, but sometimes I haven't. Some of the resumes, depending, it was kind of like generic instead of more tailored. So it's really kind of like, I might actually be better off just applying in blocks of topics. Like, if I'm applying for one type of role, say if it's customer service or delivery driving or whatever, just apply for a lot of those at once, because then it's easier to send a cover letter, just tailor it a little bit to the specific company versus having to like pop back and forth between different types of skills and wording and all this kind of stuff. Like, I feel like it might be more streamlined if I do it that way. And I'm kind of trying to talk myself through some things, as well as there's a person online that is kind of describing his journey of what he's doing. So I really want to go through some of his content and study a lot of his content, because a lot of his content shows how to, how he succeeded. And a lot of people aren't taking long to get jobs, so it's taking me a long time. But mind you, I stopped my break in March of 2023. That's when I kind of unofficially stopped. Like, in my mind, I was like, I'm done with this break at the end of March. But April, I really spent a lot of April, like, just trying to get it together a little bit, because I wasn't fully mentally ready at all. And in the month of May, I started feeling a little bit more ready, but I still wasn't focused for a lot of the month of May. And I'm barely starting to get it together a little bit now that I've had a few interviews, like, starting to get a little more motivated towards it, and like seeing like, okay, like I do want to get back into my professional life and like career driven, and because I haven't felt that way in a long time, like a really long time, probably about a year, to be honest. Probably since about April of 2022, and then Now that we're in June of 2023, like I've already lived in LA since June of 2022. And I remember in April, like once that snowboard season ended in 2022, that was like when I was like, I really need to change everything. Like that's when I started communicating how unhappy I was in the house I was living in, trying to problem solve, realizing that I've exhausted all my options to problem solve. Because I mean, I can problem solve all I want, but if I got housemates, they've got to be on board with following along with whatever rules the house has set up too. And there just wasn't a lot of structure around any of that or care. People were willing to kind of just like sit in it. And I was like, dude, you really want to sit in your shit? Like, can't we just clean this shit up, Like, but they kind of were like willing to stay, miserable. And I was like, I'm not willing to stay here. I wasn't willing to stay there financially. I wasn't willing to stay there mentally, for my mental health, for my physical health. I was losing sleep and gaining weight, and my gray hairs were like multiplying, and I was getting all kinds of weird like symptoms of different kinds, and it was just too much. I was like, I can't do this, like it's gonna make me have to like quit my job. Like I almost quit my job before I moved, and then I ended up just moving because I was like, well, at least I can work remotely and then just drive back because I'm still getting paychecks. So it's like, just drive back, when I need to be there. Because I didn't even need to be anywhere on site, even once every week or once every 2 weeks, maybe at most once every 3 weeks. And I was like, and usually it wasn't even that much. Like I usually went in maybe once a month or once every 8 weeks or so, or once every quarter. Like if they had like a real reason for us to have to go in, I would go in, and that was usually to collect like a quarterly check, and those are only every 3 months, or to collect some kind of mail that might be there, because I couldn't really tell them, hey, mail to me in LA. And so I just was like, I'm not even gonna worry. Like, just I have to I'm the only one who can change any of this. With my living environment, I'm the only one who can change it. With the stress levels of housemates and stuff, I'm the only one that can change my living environment. I'm the only one who can change my pay rate options, my job satisfaction options, my skills that I have, my certifications that I have. I have to study to do that and get done with those classes, and and I've done that. I'm still going to get another certification too, but right now with the one that I have, I'm trying to just get a job in that one. But I'm like, I had to do all this on my own, and I mean, like, it's tiring. It's exhausting, like, it's taken me like months, and I do realize, even though I'm on here almost all the time bitching and moaning and complaining, because it's hard, it's not easy, but I mean, I realize I'm like, I had an escape route, I had crazy ass roommates, and I was living cheaply, I was partying my ass off, I was doing what I wanted, but I wasn't able to really like get a financial footing in a way that's going to really help my future. It was more like immediate, like, okay, what do I want to do this weekend? Like, do I have enough money to party? Like, and yeah, I had some savings. I definitely have like a lot of savings in my retirement and stuff. And now I'm in a place where I have to like build it all up. Not from scratch, but I definitely have to build up a lot. I've spent a lot of money that I wasn't planning on spending, which is why I'm kind of like, okay, I need to just get back to work, because I do have funds that I don't want to spend, but I can spend them. But it's like, the more I spend now, the more I'm going to have to replenish the funds, because I don't want to get expenses before I get back to like the baseline of where I was with everything. And so that's why I was saying, once I get a job, if I could get hired in June, I want to move in September, so I could save for like 3 months and then move back, with all the money in place, because I technically took 3 months off, January, February, March. But then now it's been like an extra 2 months, but I really don't want to stay like 5-6 months longer. I want to be back before winter, but I don't know. We'll see. So I think my way to do that is going to have to be just applying for more places. I'm gonna have to do that. Uh, the more places I can apply at, the more opportunities I'll have to get interviews, and the more interviews I can land, the more potential I'll have to land actual employment. So, I mean, the class I was in has employment partners. I haven't utilized any of those. I haven't utilized any of those partners. You know, I haven't done anything like that. So, I think it might just make more sense to stick to the plan, and instead of going rogue and like just randomly doing stuff, it might just help to stick to the plan that most people have proven has worked for them, and just kind of do it that way. Like, it is really hard for me to focus, though. I notice, like, I have a hard time focusing on, like, sticking to the plan. Like, I kind of tend to veer off into some other creative version of something. It's kind of like a self-sabotaging kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go do this over here. Like I was doing this project, right? I was doing a project, posting on one of my pods about, a Shopify store that I opened, and I was following one of the classes to do it. First, I thought I could do it in 7 days, and then I was like, okay, I'll do it in 7-day steps, which was 2 or 3 days in between or so, give or take. Like, I don't know. It varied. Like within a week, I might have done 1 step or 2 steps or 3 steps, but not 7 steps in a week. Like, I was doing like one of the 7 episodes every few days or so, because that's how long it took me to do each step. And yeah, I didn't follow the class exactly. I kind of saw what was going on and went and did my own thing. And then by the end of it, like, the project was completely different than what I had set out to do. I kind of changed the project mid-project, and like, that's kind of what I do. Like, it's kind of an anxiety thing. It's like I get like warped in and focused on the wrong stuff, and then just hit the ground running, and then I have to like take a step back and be like, wait, like, why am I over here doing this thing? It's a Shopify store. Why am I over here paying these people to like make ads, or trying to like do like ads through this other version of, like, through this other method, versus following the plan of the class and doing what they said to do. Like, I'm trying alternative methods before I even tried the method that they state is proven. Like, I didn't even try that one. And I think part of it's like, yeah, I don't like to start something, do it exactly like I'm supposed to do it, and then fail. But then it's like, well, if I start something and do it some version that I make up off the top of my head, and then it doesn't work out, I still have that other backup plan. But then it's kind of like I'm running around in circles a lot too. And so, and I just naturally do that. It's hard for me to like realize it. And I'm doing it with job applications too. Like, when I notice, I'm like, okay, I'm on Indeed doing these like apply easy, apply quick ones, and all these other things, and then I find like other job descriptions that aren't even what I'm applying to, and I'm like, oh, this seems like something I used to work at like way back, so let me try to just work, like, put in a bunch of these applications. And it's like, I don't even want these jobs. They're paying like $15 an hour and stuff with no commissions, nothing like that, or commission only jobs where they don't even pay you hourly. It's like, I don't want to do any of that. Like, I need to just focus to apply on the stuff I need to apply at, and not just try to just do whatever and fall off the plan, because it's wasting my energy too. And then I have days like today where I'm like, I'm proud of myself for the work I put in, for the effort I put in, for the energy I put in. Some of the stuff I completed was definitely good quality, but at the same time, like, I ate some good quality food. My breakfast was good. My lunch was late, but it was healthy and good as well, as the breakfast. I got exercise in that was like good quality exercise last night and this morning. I did a little meditating, not a lot, but a little. I will definitely do more. I did a little just kind of, yeah, I did job applications and stuff. I did, I did some applications for the types of work roles I'm actually looking for. I replied back to see if I could get some feedback on something. I kind of checked my LinkedIn and made sure I had everything kind of squared away. I've done a lot. Like, I've definitely finished a lot, accomplished a lot, got my tickets for an event, ordered some healthy groceries for the next couple days, and yeah, like, I've done a lot of stuff today that was like on point, but I just feel like the part where I kind of got a little off track was the job applications, really. Like, when I started spiraling like into those weird, like, get money today kind of thing. Like, it was like, okay, all the time and energy and hours that I spent between breakfast and noon, or whatever time around noon, doing that, I could have spent those like 3 or so hours just putting in solid applications, but I didn't, but that's, 3 hours out of the day that is gone. And so, at least I caught myself, though. At least I caught myself. I do have some studying to do tonight. Like, I do stuff to study for the work, because it's like the interviews, they tend to have like tests, like they kind of like test you on skills and stuff. And so, yeah, when you're interviewing, you kind of have to know your stuff. I'm barely at a point now where I can like write the cover letters and emails and stuff like that, explaining, my application, explaining myself. And so, yeah, and I'm kind of, like, I'm slow at this kind of stuff because I have not applied for jobs for like over 9 years. Like, I've been doing the same thing for ages. I haven't really like legit applied for jobs in so long. Like, I think the closest I got was because I had a friend and my sister who were applying for grad schools, and I looked over some of their CV. I looked over my sister's resumes a little bit, her CV, her personal statement, her application, my friend's personal statement, his application, and yeah, my sister was also applying to jobs, so I looked at some of her resumes and stuff, and cover letters and stuff, and so that's kind of how I've kind of had a little bit of more recent experience in the last like year or two with applications and stuff. And I was just like, she was asking me for advice, and I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if my advice is like up to date. Like, I have like ancient advice. So yeah, I'm kind of still trying to reflect more on what I'm doing. For the pods where I post about the 4 agreements, today I'm not gonna read from there. I have a mindset coaching session that I'm gonna tune into and go through some more of that content on my own. My night's not over, but I do plan on, reviewing some stuff. I'm just gonna review like my like some of that guy's content that I said, like, he kind of recorded about his journey, and his current journey too. So I want to catch up on his videos, and some other people's videos like his, And I've still got this affiliate project I'm working on, so I think today might be the first day. Let me see. I'm supposed to do 7 days, so let's see. I lost track of the day I started. Let me see. I think 7 Tuesday. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah. So last Tuesday was the day I started the project. So I needed 7 days to kind of like seed my accounts. So now that that's done, I'm moving on to the next steps today, I guess. So I need to do that today. But yeah, I don't yeah, that's mostly what I need to do. It's it's a lot. It's a lot, you know? Like it's a lot of new and different stuff. Like I mean, I have to give myself credit, you know? Like I'm not doing that bad. It's just I do have really high standards for myself, and to see kind of how I'm handling things in the last like month since I've been off work, since this year started, I've really been feeling like I am just entering a side of myself that I have never really seen. But it's kind of necessary to get things back on track. You know, I had to kind of just deal with myself and deal with stuff. You know, otherwise, you know, like I couldn't do it while staying in that job. You know, I couldn't. It wasn't gonna help my health to keep going down the path I was going, and I know that. You know, I know that I wasn't gonna reach a level of success that I wanted. I mean, I'm not jealous and I'm not like envious. But I am motivated by, you know, my friends in San Diego. I think that kind of gave me a bit of a kick in the ass, you know, just seeing how, you know, I have a lot of friends who, you know, stuck out their licensure process and are now, you know, in the last like 2-3 years, like all of them landing like really good jobs. But that wasn't really the route I wanted to go, you know, was licensing and psych, because, you know, I wanted to do it because I'm good at it and I wanted to help people. But I knew that, you know, I have other interests of stuff I want to try. And right now, that kind of work just really isn't for me. Just because it's so fatigued, you know, it makes me so fatigued and drained. I get compassion fatigue, and it's just like with the low pay rate and having to live, you know, so cheaply and everything, and just making worse decisions because of stress levels, you know, worse food decisions, worse exercise decisions, worse social decisions, as in, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with partying, but it's like, it's not free to party, you know? And, like, I wasn't, like, always overspending. Like, sometimes I was, but usually I was pretty careful. But I definitely was not, like, saving as aggressively as I could have. I did a lot of that, though during the early days of the pandemic, because we couldn't really do anything that had, like, cover fees or tickets or anything. Like, it was usually like bring your own drinks to the park and we'll play cards or football or something, like go to the beach, you know. And other than like maybe paying parking or whatever, or chipping in for like a pizza, or everybody bring your own food to the barbecue kind of thing, like we'll bring food and share it and stuff. It was like we were basically paying for like groceries and gas and parking and stuff. We weren't paying for like Ubers and all. Like, we weren't paying for a whole bunch of stuff. So I got a good length of time, you know, to be able to save more money because I had nowhere to spend it. Like, I didn't develop new things to do. But yeah, and I still got this little sinus thing going on. Yesterday I mentioned how sore my ear was, but today it's not sore. It a little bit, but not as much as it was yesterday. So I don't know. Maybe I have an inner ear infection, like on the right side. Um, but it feels more like a sinus thing. But I don't know. All that stuff is connected. So if it doesn't improve, I guess by the time I see my doctor Thursday, I might ask for a referral. Um, I know they have other plans of things that they want to do, but it's like, dude, I've got this insurance right now because I'm not working, and so I really want to get as much done as I can. Um, so yeah, I don't have like co-pays for anything. Like, it's fine. So yeah, I'm uh you know, like, I really have been feeling better. Like, since I started mentioning it, I am. Like, I record these to kind of reflect on my day. It's the easiest way to kind of force myself to reflect on things, even though it's kind of like not deepest the deepest level of like reflecting, because I don't get like way too personal about everything. Like, I'm not going to like record every single thought or feeling that I have like on the internet, but I mean, just the general stuff of the basics of stuff I'm trying to get done. I am kind of realizing a lot, and a lot's coming to the forefront, which is what I like, because I'm like, oh, I can kind of like going through the motions kind of helps me kind of observe how I deal with the process and how I go through the process. And I do realize stuff like the self-sabotage or the anxiety or the like how things impact my sleep. Like, there's certain stuff, like when I had that interview coming up the next day, like I wasn't aware of um how I was not sleeping well. Like, it hit me like later that night. I was like, oh, I'm up so late because I'm actually kind of nervous about this interview. Like, I didn't think about that. I didn't really know. I was just like, oh, like, I'll be fine, and I was pretty, like, in my head, I'm like, I feel like I did okay, maybe good, but I was not confident, and I was not as prepared as I could have been. Part of me is almost glad that I didn't like super prepare. And then another part of me is like, I wonder what would have happened if I would have, but also it just seemed like it would have been so stressful. I don't think I could just land a job right now that's going to be like ultra stressful and competitive. I want a job that kind of wants me, not a job that's like, picks like plenty of people to choose from and just lets them kind of knock everybody out of every round till they get the best of the best. Like, I'm not really into the competition part of it. I just want to work. And I will be competitive, but more so with myself. I don't want to be like competing in an environment where it's like not safe necessarily. Like, I don't know. I can't say for sure it wouldn't be safe, but it's like the other jobs I've worked in, which is why I stayed with the company I was with for so long, is even though I did have a couple bad, bosses and leads and stuff on occasion, the majority of everyone I worked with was good. The culture of the environment was very safe. Like, it wasn't completely perfect, but it's like, with the flaws it had, the flaws weren't always affecting me so much. Like, I feel like I've had some permanent damage from some of it. But it's part of the learning, growing pains, learning scars, it's like battle wounds, whatever you want to call it. Like, at the very least, it's taught me how to make sure that I never am that way at work, with anybody ever. Like, even when I was like in positions to be training people, I made sure that I was always kind and gentle and like, just like helpful, and I was never like, you know, trying to make anyone feel like anxious or nervous to like come to me with anything. Like I was not like in charge of anything, but like cuz I'd been there for so long and the staff was so short, and like, eventually there was a point where like there were so many new staff coming in and I was the only one available to like train. Like I wasn't in like management in the job where I was training, but then eventually I kind of got promoted to a type of manager, and it's just there were only two positions above mine to move up, and the pay was still shitty. My pay was shitty, and their pay was shitty. I wonder if they would change and pay at least 40 an hour. Would I go back? If it stayed remote, absolutely. Because right now I don't know if I could like try to like float like getting another car right away. Like I do have options to get, a car. I do have options, but I can't quite get a car. Like I do have options to get a car though, but I can't quite get a car that's going to be like permanent. If I do get a car, it'll be something that I'm looking to replace pretty quickly anyway, so I don't know. Like I think it just works in my favor to get remote work so I don't have to get car repairs or replace the car. I'm trying to just not have to deal with car expenses right now. And the car that I am driving is from 2006, and it's always leaking steering fluid. Like the steering fluid lasts for maybe like 4 days. That's not good because I'm pretty sure it's like ruining other stuff. So I really, hope that car lasts. But the mechanic has checked it out and just said it's gonna leak. Like, so I don't know why they haven't fixed it, but I guess my folks didn't want to get it fixed, and I already fixed their other car and fixed my car. Over these past few years, I've spent thousands of dollars on car repairs between two really old cars. One's a 2001 Oldsmobile Aurora, and my car is a 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse, and then my brother's car is a 2006 Nissan Murano that mostly my mom drives, and she never uses it, so it's kind of just sitting there in the driveway. So I'm kind of maintaining it, and I might get it fixed, but I don't want to do anything without a job. So other than buying tickets to stuff in the near future, but yeah, I don't know. I've got to figure all this stuff out. I'm I'm kind of gaining more clarity on kind of like how to kind of tweak what I'm doing so that I'm seeing more improvement, and I am seeing more improvement. It's just a process. It's like I went from doing other stuff to just like just letting my mind just like have its own, I don't want to call it a breakdown, but like my head definitely unloaded itself, and I had an experience of just just like a lot of soul searching, a lot of like I really just want to be in work that, I guess the difference of what I wasn't getting at my old work was that you don't really move up. It's like you get a pay rate, and if you can get like the best type of pay rate, it's good. Like for example, I look at the people that I knew that were making really good money when I was in school and stuff. Usually I'd have professors that worked at universities where I went. They were teaching or doing clinical work and teaching. So they would teach. They would have dissertation groups, and they would do clinical work, and some of them would like also supervise the students. And I'm like, dude, that's like almost 4 jobs, and yeah, they were making 6 figures, but I'm like, I don't want 4 fucking jobs, I want 1 job, like, some of them are doing research as well. And it's like each of these individual things they were doing was like a whole field of itself too. And I'm like, that is good money, but it's like, that's not how I want to make money. Like, I want to get paid based off of the skills I have and the money I bring in for the company. Because I know that I was one of, if we were considered earners in our job, I know that I was one of the highest earners. I kind of figured out like the strategy that I needed to have with clients to make sure that there was retention. I kind of figured out the strategies I needed to figure out, how to enroll clients, how to help them best. Like, I was able to just kind of figure that out, without somebody directly telling me how to do it. And, how to meet productivity, how to get the bonuses, how to, get my work done on time, how to get the, like, how to get things done the way we needed to get them done. Like, a lot of times we weren't told how to do that, and I had to figure all that out for myself. So I spent years developing methods that kind of worked for me, and then I saw that a lot of the times, like, even like directors and stuff were like training other people to do stuff the way that I was doing it. They'd be like, oh, well, she does it this way, like, do this and then do that. And like, they would have people like emulating me. Not everybody, like, some people had their own styles too, but like when people were like really struggling or like new or something, a lot of them did come and talk to me, and I kind of told them how I did stuff and how I structured stuff, because it was so chaotic. Like, the clinic where I worked before the remote job was so chaotic that like you couldn't even hardly think straight. Like I had to make my own method of doing things. Like, I was like, work starts at 9. I don't schedule clients at 9. I'd come in and start eating my breakfast and reading emails and scheduling, like, seeing what my day is gonna look like, seeing who has called me, who's left voicemails, seeing what maybe I left on my to-do list from the day before, paperwork that might need to get done that I could just sign real quick. In the first like 45 minutes or so of my day, I spent kind of planning my day and like finishing up previous stuff, so that it wasn't like I run in the door and like there's no plan. I'm just like client, back to back. Like, I didn't do that because I was like, well, I can't strategize my days and my weeks if I don't have any strategic time. And the best time to strategize was first thing in the morning, because once the doors opened, you might get called in to do like a screening, and the screenings were basically like anyone who walked in, but like they'd have to fill out paperwork first. And so you usually get at least 30 minutes, if not 30-40 minutes, before you could do a screening. You'd usually get at least 30 minutes to do a screening. So before, because they'd have to log in, you'd have to log in your computers, like everything wasn't like instant. So I was like, if I'm scheduling clients at 9, that means we're not meeting at 9, we're meeting some other time, so I kind of was like a little, like, yeah, like just trying to, like, I don't know, and it's hard to explain. Like, we had stuff, like some other things that made it chaotic. Like, we had, so our desks for the clinicians were set up kind of like a bullpen style, but with like dividers between. They weren't like fully like cubicles, but they had like just dividers, so like you could just roll your desk back and speak to the person on your left or your right, because our desks were all in a row, but like, there were dividers, so you're and like it went high up enough, like you could stand and talk over them, or you could just kind of push your chair out like a foot or two, and you could see the person on your right or your left. So it wasn't like fully private or anything. And then we had different rooms around, different offices where you could, like, they were numbered, and you would basically put in the calendar your hour time slot to book the room. And so you could book the rooms 2 hours in advance. And if you consider that you're having clients from 9 to 5, almost like your last client ends at 5, your first client starts at 9, that's the earliest you could start, latest you could end. And you would basically put them all, like, assuming that you had however many clients per day, you would book your rooms based on that. And I remember Tuesdays I had a group at a certain time for like an hour, and then I had another hour group back to back with that one, and then I had a 90-minute group on Thursday evenings from like, I think it was like 5:30 to 7 p.m. or something like that, because we got out at like 8 p.m. We worked noon to 8 p.m. or something. And so, like, yeah, it was a little chaotic. Like, say if you didn't book your rooms in advance for therapy, just like a simple thing that you think, okay, if I have a client let's just keep it simple. If I have a client every day on the hour with a 30-minute lunch break from 12 to 12:30, maybe some documentation 12:30 to 1 p.m., and then the rest of the day, like, so basically we would set aside like 9 to 10 in the morning for documentation, 4 to 5 p.m. last of the day for documentation, maybe a little in the middle of the day for documentation, and then you basically have to log off of your desk computer, go to whichever therapy room you had booked. I would try to book the same room for 2 weeks in a row for every single client, but then it started getting messy, because, like, if your client doesn't show, and then somebody else might need the room, and then they take your room, and if there's like a crisis, or if they start late and have to end late, or if they start on time and have to end late, and then it's like my client might be there at their 11 o'clock appointment, but somebody might still be in my room. So now I have to run around looking for a room that's not booked, or wait to see if somebody else no-shows so that I can come into a different room. And it's like you have to log it in there so that they know which rooms you're in, because, like, we're trying to keep a system. But it was like this, like, every day it would just be complete chaos. Like, you're just trying to find your room. Like, sometimes you'd have like, if you didn't book them all back to back, sometimes, like, other people's sessions would, like, overlap into yours, and it was just a mess. And yeah, our conference rooms were used for the groups when we weren't having any conferences or meetings. And so it was just stuff like that, where it's just like, oh my gosh, like, if you don't have a strategy and you're just like starting your day and just like winging it every day, it's like, it's going to be hard to figure out what you're going to do. So I had certain hours of the day, of the weeks, that I was going to do certain stuff. I did overtime at one point, before they were like really checking on us. I would do overtime probably almost every day, like, and every weekend. Like, I did overtime all the time, because I almost never got my documentation done at work, and so I took it home, and it sucked, but I was like, this is how I get my job done, and then I was always over productivity, because the only way to meet productivity, I found out, was to get overtime, because if you added up all the meetings, all the lunch breaks, all your personal breaks, all your documentation time, technically your face-to-face client time, with the documentation time, wouldn't add up to the amount of hours you needed for productivity on average. And so if you took the work home, it still counts towards your documentation productivity. And so that would, all your documentation and face-to-face would count for productivity. Anything that wasn't billable, which was still work we had to do, like faxing, like composing letters, mailing letters, filing things into charts, printing stuff out, looking up records, old records and charts that aren't online, talking to people up in the front, like, just for like some kind of support, talking to admin staff, consulting with your supervisors, like, well, depending on, like, consultation, if it was like with an appointment, that was fine, but like a lot of the stuff we had to do was not um, it wasn't uh, counted as productivity. So you could have multiple hours of the day of work that you were doing that wouldn't be counted for productivity because it's not billable work. And so, yeah, that's how they counted productivity. And it was just like I had to figure it out. And I was like, I found little loopholes, like doing approved overtime, or, blocking off a day where we could just sit and like get our work done. And, not, that was another thing. Like, the times when we were supposed to be documenting weren't really honored, or the 15 minutes between your clients weren't really honored. And so if they saw that you were done with a client and somebody walked in, they would pop somebody else into your schedule, and then they'd make you do that work instead of finishing the work that you had just started. And so you just have, if I had 5 clients in one day, I might have more than 5 pieces of documentation. I might have like 15, 16 tasks that I did in a day and only saw like 5 people, and then it's like I don't get that done. So then I start the next day, and then instead of seeing 3 clients that day, maybe I have 19 things that I had to do. So it's like eventually you just have to take it home, and it was just a disaster. So I went through years of dealing with a job like that, and like it's like, the way I saw it, like I was scared at first, but the way I saw it was like, well, they're not gonna fire me. Like, nobody's been fired, and I'm not doing anything illegal, and I'm meeting productivity, and I keep everything written in emails for the most part of anything that comes up where I'm like, oh, I can't get this done or I can't get that done. And so I would always get the director's reply, and so they always knew if I was behind or something was going to be late, so they would never penalize me for it because I communicated about it. So even on my reviews and stuff, I was never penalized for stuff that maybe didn't get done or that I maybe couldn't do on time. Like, I was pretty overwhelmed a lot of the time, but I just kind of like, just kind of left it alone, like, and vented with friends and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I became one of the longer term staff that was there, and I really did like it. It was ideal in a way. Once I figured out how to make it work, I was like, well, I've got a system that kind of works and a system that's not working. It's like you can't really do like a really planned out hour by hour thing when you have people just walking in the door needing to be seen just at random. I have clients that would walk in at like 4:45 p.m. in a crisis, and it's like I can't just be like, sorry, I'm off in 15 minutes, I gotta go. It's like you have to sit through the whole crisis, and if you have to call PERT, you have to call them, and then you have to do the assessment, you have to write up all the documents, and you have to do all this before you go home. And it's like, okay, I get off at 5, but maybe I'm working till 7. It's like you never know what your day's gonna be like. So you might have to make a CPS or APS call, and sometimes those calls will keep you online for like 90 minutes or something. Like, you never know what your day is going to bring, and you eventually just get used to it. Like, I totally got used to it after a certain point and was able to kind of make it work. But it's like, a job like that doesn't offer raises, that you can't really move up, or if you want to move up to the max, you start having to do stuff like I mentioned with those professors that were like working and had their dissertation groups and had people in their dissertation groups writing, helping them on their research, and they were publishing research, and as well as teaching, as well as having clients in a private practice. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to do that route either, I don't want to do all that, like, there are other ways to make money. Like, when you live in Southern California, it's ideal to make 6 figures, and there are other ways to do that than having a job that's like that. Like, I liked the topics, I like psychology, I love mental health, I like health in general, and working with people who are trying to work on their health. That was good to see, like, watching how other staff kind of like balance their lives, and watching how certain clients, get things on track, or talking to them about it and stuff. Like, you start realizing, like, this is what you need to do. So it's kind of weird. It's like I was raised as a kid, in a religion that focused on health, I knew a lot about health. I studied a lot about health. I worked a lot in fields related to health. But then when it comes to myself, it's like I got to take care of my own health. And health is more than just like, did I go to the gym or not? It's like, what did I eat? Did I sleep? How's my stress? Like, how's my focus? How's my energy? And that's why when I'm recording these things every day almost, it's like I'm kind of focused on all that stuff. Like, what is kind of aligned with what it needs, like how it needs to look, and what is off track. And I'm able to notice what's off track and what's on track, even though I'm not trying to, like, make myself feel small or make myself feel like inadequate, or make myself feel like I'm not, trying hard, or like I'm lazy, or like I'm unskilled, or like anything. I'm not trying to do anything like in some, like I'm trying to figure out a different method and strategy, basically, for first shifting my career and living environment, and then from there, and my health, my health plans and things, like how I kind of manage my health on a day-to-day. I'm shifting all these things at once, so I feel like I haven't really gotten it fully down, like what I need to do, because every day is like I've got to like jump around here and there every day to like get stuff done. So it can be tedious, but I'm looking at it, I'm observing it, and just trying to like figure it out as I go. So yeah, I'm gonna take some time today to kind of just keep looking at this stuff. And I do have a little bit to do before I start unwinding. The day has felt very long. I've gotten a lot done, but I'm not quite done yet. So, yeah. So I'm gonna get into what I need to do soon. I'm gonna try and shut everything down by like 8:30 p.m. because otherwise, I might not be able to really unwind too good. Like, I want to make sure I'm like actually unwinding. I don't want to push till night. But I feel like this coffee did me some good, like, and sleeping good and exercising. I think that all helped. But yeah, this is the only recording I'm doing today because it probably is the only recording I'm doing today. I'm not for sure, 100% sure. But I think it's the only recording I'm doing today, so I don't want to, I made it longer, so, because I don't really want to record a whole bunch of other stuff, but, alright guys, I'm gonna get in the house and go do some stuff that I need to do, and call it a night in about 2 hours or so. And with that, thanks for listening.